It's been a minute since I've recorded one of these videos, but let's just talk about the series that we just took 2 of 3 from Toronto. And welcome in everybody to one of these videos I have not made in feels like 2 months. But the Red Sox took 2 of 3 against the Toronto Blue Jays. In Toronto, it was a very nice series to watch, especially since it's the first time we have beaten Toronto in Toronto since last season. What was it, June of last season? So it was a nice series to watch. It was the first series win against Toronto all year. Uh, but unfortunately, with the loss last night, we will not be able to. We would have been eliminated from the AL East race, the division race, and we have also been eliminated from the top wild card spot as well, because the Yankees and the Blue Jays are 4 games above us with 3 games left to play. So it is mathematically impossible to somehow either get the top wild card or the division. But the second and third wild card are still in play. As of today, I believe as of last night, we still hold a 1 game lead over the Detroit Tigers for the final wild card. We still hold the second wild card by 1 game over Detroit. And that's why this series against Detroit is going to be very pivotal. But that's not what this video is really about. This video is mostly just about what happened in the first game. Um, we can talk about the series a little bit. I might make a series preview video in a little bit. But for now, we can just talk about the first few games of this series, what went good, what went bad, maybe do a little bit of an ugly portion, but let's just get in. So game one was nice. We did win the first game 4-1. The offense did play good. The bullpen was actually decent. Not even giving up a hit to Toronto. Narvi had a good game on Tuesday night. The one thing I was a little bit worried about in that game was the fact that Giolito did not finish 5 innings. I believe he only went 4 1/3. He did not even go. Yeah, he didn't even get out of the 5th inning. The bullpen was good, shockingly. You got to see Chapman in the game. I believe that was the only time he was actually in the series. It was a nice breath of fresh air because we know how much the bullpen has been an issue for us the entire season, and it was nice to just see, wow, they actually did not implode, unlike they did on yesterday. But we don't. We'll talk about that later. Narvaez, like I mentioned, did have a good game. He did have crucial base hits. Um, it was just a nice game all around. I really liked it. Held the Blue Jays to only 1 run, and it was finally, you realize, hey, we can actually beat Toronto. We can actually have, what's the word, hope against Toronto. So that was a nice game to watch, actually. Game two wise, it was another good game for the Sox. Scoring 7 runs. Crochet having a great game. Eight scoreless innings for Crochet. You'll take that every day, especially since it's his final start of the season. We did hold Toronto for 8 shutout innings until Tolley came in and gave up the home run. Uh, Looked a little bit shaky. Tolley did in that 9th inning, but he got out of it, only giving up the 1 run. Did give up. Uh, was a little bit, like I said, dicey. The play by Abreu in the 9th inning was pretty funny to watch. Caught me a little bit off guard on stream. But the one thing I do want to mention is Yoshida having a good game. Drove in 2 RBIs, had a solo home run in the game. And Yoshida's official. I think Yoshida's coming back. I know some of the people in our live streams say love Yoshida, but Yoshida's finally coming back. He's actually starting to play really good. The shoulder's probably no longer an issue for him, but finally it's nice to see Yoshida break out a little bit, hit the ball actually to the outfield instead of a choppers on the infield. But it's nice to see Yoshi coming out. You know, like I said, Crochet was in there. I know switching gears, but Crochet only did go the 8 innings, held Toronto like really, really good. That was a really good outing. Uh, I thought he was initially going to go for the entire game, but once he hit 100 pitches, you're like, you don't really want to burn Crochet out on his final game of the season, but give Tolle a little bit of game rep when it was 7-0. And then he did get, like I said, he did give up that home run. Uh, the one thing I got to say about Tolle is he's got to add a little bit more off speed pitches. He needs to add something better because he keeps throwing the fastball. The Blue Jays knew it. And I believe that's what the home run pitch was a fastball. And Springer got, I believe it was Springer who got a hold of that fastball. Let me check my notes here. No, I'm sorry. It was IKF with his second home run of the year. It was Springer who struck out the next batter. But yeah, it was a little, I thought it was Springer, but uh, yeah, Tolle just needs to get a little bit of a better off speed. He does throw a fastball pretty good. I believe it hit 100 at one point during the game, but he's gotta, because opponents know he does throw that fastball, but really that's his one and only pitch that he actually throws because he threw a ton of fastballs and they were hitting like 98, 99, even 100 consistently, but just needs a better like complementary pitch for the game. Finally, we'll talk about game 3, and that's the bad game I really don't want to talk about, but I have to anyway. And for the third game of this garbage, that was I shouldn't say the series was not garbage. This game was garbage because it was a pitcher's duel all the way till the 6th inning until Bello struggled, loaded the bases up. You had a chance to get out of that inning somehow, but unfortunately, Justin Wilson came in. You had to face Dalton Varsho, and then boom, grand slam happened. Made it 4-0. You still couldn't get out of the inning, and then a 2-run homer by Springer later that said inning made it 6-0. Thanks to Zach Kelly giving up the 2-run homer. But Bello didn't look good. He struggled. The bullpen kind of struggled. Mainly Justin Wilson and Zach Kelly. But Chris Murphy looked all right. The one thing I'm really going to complain about, I know it's hard to sweep Toronto, but you really kind of wanted that win in Toronto because if you would have won, you're in the playoffs no matter what happens with this Detroit series coming up, but you still need to win one game against Detroit to clinch a playoff spot. But the one thing I was really worried about was the offense because in that awful loss last night, it was a perfect game by Toronto until the 6th inning. It was actually, it was until the 7th inning, but 6 no-hit innings, have not given up a base runner. But then all of a sudden, the Red Sox starting getting base runners, leadoff double by Duran, and then immediately, like 4 pitches into the inning, an RBI, a single for Story as well to make it 7-1. But it was just one of those games, they knew they won the series. They're like, whatever. I thought they were going to have a little bit more urgency, a little bit more, what's the word, like motivation to win this game because the magic number was down to 1. It still is at 1. But if you would have won that game, would have been in the playoffs already. But now you got to worry about Detroit. But that's just, it was just a bad game all around. Really, not a lot to say. There wasn't really a lot of good in this game. Story maybe getting the base hit was really the only good part of the game. Maybe Kelly was bad. Murphy looked all right. Bello looked good until the 6th inning where he loaded up the bases. It's not a lot of good. But the first 2 games were a lot of good, not a lot of bad. This game's the complete opposite. A lot of bad and not a lot of good. So, yeah, that's really all I got to say about this 3-game series. Hopefully we can beat Detroit I hope we can. I'll see you guys tonight for the first game of the Tigers series at 7 o'clock. Tune in. See you guys tonight.